Lori Breitzke, thank you so much for being here. We're at the National Hurricane Conference, largest disaster event, and you are on our panel as a founding member of Payments as a Lifeline. Can you say a few words about you, about what FIS is doing in this space, and why you chose to be a founding member?
Yes, thanks. Thanks for having me. And this conference has been amazing. We have learned so much, and we have met the greatest people. All the people here just have great hearts. It's been really neat to be here. So at FIS, I run product for prepaid and government businesses, and we've been talking for a while about what to do to really bring together a neutral industry organization. And that was one of the things that was very important when we talked about who was going to be part of our little club and how we were going to go about it. And you had that great idea with the advisory board, which is amazing. And I know you're going to talk to some of those people as well. But really having people that have a common goal, that we may compete sometimes, and sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, but we all come together about how to get payments to people faster, to get relief to them faster, and not only right after the disaster happens, but something you've been talking about and we've really heard stressed here is the recovery ongoing.
Absolutely. Well, and what's been interesting, so we've been pretty much the only bankers out of, 1,500 people. And what's been interesting is we hear again and again that until there's money flowing, there can't be recovery. And as payments geeks, we know that there's lots of different ways the money needs to flow, lots of different layers. Can you say a little bit, a lot of what we've talked about is controlling for that fraud and abuse. And some of the statistics that have come out are 40% in some of the states, the CARES Act is suspected of fraud and abuse dollars. Anyway, say a little bit about how we can, as bankers and payments, control.
Yeah, so I think there's so many different aspects of that. One is control on the money in, because you don't want terrorists sending money and then laundering it. So that's obviously something that we have a lot of controls in the US about, a lot of controls internationally about. So you've got to make sure that you've got those protections on the front. And then for the recipient, you've got to make sure that you're validating their ID. And we saw so much of what's happened with the pandemic that those funds have not gone to the right places. So it's really an all the way to the beginning, all the way to the end, and then being able to control. So that's controlling for fraud, controlling for spend. We want to make sure they're actually going and repairing their house and they're not giving the card or selling their card to someone, which we see a lot in benefits, unfortunately. So we want to make sure that it's going, that they're going to buy a new roof and they're going to buy nails and they're going to do those things, or stay in a hotel if they don't have a place to stay. So one of the things payments can do is really control not only down to the merchant, but we can also control down to the items that they buy, which is really cool. So bringing together that end-to-end system is something we're very focused on at FIS and really excited to get started with.
Well, and one of the things that's impressive with what you do is being able to track all the way from even the donor through to the money getting out to the person and proving back how it was spent. So we know that privacy laws say that we can't talk about the person, but you can say that person was part of this $50 million batch of funds that went out, and 11% went to transportation and 15% for food. But having that accounting feedback loop to be able to go back to the donor or the government agency and say, okay, $50 million, $100 million, every penny, we can tell you exactly where every penny went, is powerful. And we're finding in the donor community, it's making more people want to donate more money.
Well, it just makes the system better, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it just gives that accountability, so more people want to donate, but then the recipients are happy, they're getting what they need, and then we're following all the rules and regulations and compliance, right? So, it's super.
Well, thank you so much for being part of this, and a founding member. That is huge.
Thank you.